What is going down, everyone? It's time for Mojobreak.com, The Hype, episode 274. Football championship week is here. 4 teams remain. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here on The Hype. We're going to talk some basketball cards. We're going to talk some football cards. We're also going to end with Guess That Price with Greg, Ty, C-Rad facing off. We'll see if the youngsters can take down the OG breaker. We'll see what's going on there. We've got some new releases this week, guys. Get in on Illusions football. And yes, the first question people ask about upcoming football products, what do you think they're asking?
Is Tom Brady in there?
Yes, Brock Purdy is in the product.
Well,
Illusions.
I mean, but that is true. Like, we always get the Tom Brady question.
We do, but Illusions does have 199 plus variation versions of Brock Purdy's autograph. So if you want to chase the GOAT, go ahead and get in on Illusions. It's coming out this Wednesday. We'll also be breaking with players. You're probably going to be watching this after, though, but watch some of the recaps of us breaking with some of the NFL rookies of the 2022 season. Brock Purdy will not be there for obvious reasons, but we may see the likes of like Malik Willis. We may see Christian Watson. We may see Chris Olave. We may see a bunch of names from the 2022 rookie class breaking some illusions, breaking maybe some impeccable with us. So check that out on Mojobreak's YouTube. Follow us on Instagram on that. And more football news. We've got the biggest PYT break ever. 160 box football mixer. Pick your team. 12 different years. There's 2017, plenty of boxes of 2017 if you're chasing Mahomes. Plenty of 2018 for Lamar and that scrub Josh Allen. We got 2019 if you want to chase the great Debo. You've got 2020, of course, with Burrow. You got Burrow, Herbert, Hurts, who's going to lose this weekend, but we've got him in there as well. 2021 for Lawrence. He's maybe the new up-and-comer. And, of course, plenty of 2022 stuff for Brock Purdy. It is pick your team, so you can get in, wherever you feel comfortable based on chase. We're also giving away $10,000 in break credit to somebody in that break. So you could be like, I'm going to pick up a $2,000 team, and I'm going to see if I can chase the break credit, also hit bounties. There's a lot of buybacks in there. We balance this breakout a lot, so giving a lot of potential. We pick some top-end buybacks, including our own, to put in there. We've got memorabilia. I am talking a lot, but I've got a lot to say today because I wasn't on the show last week, so I've been holding it all in like a kink in the hose, but how are you guys doing?
How you doing, Cody?
I didn't know I was getting all right. The hot potato was getting thrown over to me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know where it was going, so
it's not a really happy Monday for Dan seeing the Niners.
No. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I really I just don't. I don't want to see the Niners win. Nobody does.
Well, a lot of people do.
I mean, no. Well, the bandwagon's true. It's a true thing in the
Hop
Bay Area.
Get on that bandwagon. Plenty of room.
I just on my run on the trail I usually go on, just everybody I'd run into have some type of Niners gear. They just went and got it like Target yesterday. It's a real thing.
It's a new season. It's a new run towards
I'm
new
just
quest for
down,
6.
I'm just counting down the days to the NASCAR season.
Got to get new gear.
NASCAR,
the Clash coming up.
The Clash is coming up, but that is a exhibition
See anybody
race.
with Rams gear on the trail?
Well, no, because unfortunately I live in Northern California.
Wow. Even if it's Southern California, you wouldn't see any.
No, you will. You'll be in California.
Debatable.
Southern California. That's where we'll be there in a couple days, doing a little rookie roundup. So excited to quote the great Willie Nelson. I'm just happy to be on the road again. How about that?
Just can't.
How about that, huh?
I mean, it's been basketball season for a while down in SoCal. I mean, they're getting the Rui Hachimura jerseys. You see that trade?
Oh.
Yeah, Rui.
To the Lakers?
Yeah, former big rookie Chase a couple years back. Rui to the Lakers.
What did they give up for him?
I think a couple of maybe a second
because he was like a
not much.
He was a first rounder.
Yeah,
I don't know if he I don't think he was a top 10 pick, but he was hovering around.
He was definitely
mid.
I know he wasn't like the big Chase from his rookie year, but I feel like he was like a solid Chase from that year.
It feels like the Wizards cannot draft. I mean, we should save this for C-Rad to see how he feels about the Wizards. You got Corey Kispert. You've got not Rui Hachimura anymore, but you've had solid draft choices and really hasn't amounted to a whole lot over there.
What I'm trying to say is when you're down there, you're going to see more Rui jerseys than maybe Cooper Kupp right now. Just being, being honest.
That's not true. And getting back to the big Super Bowl mixer, the Rams, extremely undervalued. Speaking of the greatest football team, the defending Super Bowl champion Rams, something that no other team can say at this moment.
And no other team in the history of football can say that they've had a worse season.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Super
matter
Bowl.
if you win 1 game or 2 games or 17 games. If you don't win the Super Bowl, it does not matter.
Yeah, well, they are now the Marlins of football. I mean, you have a great championship year to follow it up with
But if they didn't repeat, it didn't matter anyway.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and they don't have any picks either.
And it's quiet because the Niners have not won since
No,
'94.
can't say anything.
But the Niners have gotten there. They've gotten there. They've gotten really, really close.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 times in the last 4 years. Can't say
But
that
it
about
does
a lot of other
not
teams.
matter. It does. It's actually.
gotta finish.
It's actually. You can say it's worse.
Ask that to Lions fans. I think they would take 3 NFC championship
I don't know.
appearances
I don't know
in 3
if you
years.
want to.
Well, I guess the ultimate test is, and I know Bills fans probably hurting after just a really tough, easy win for the Bengals in the snow. But would they exchange 1 Super Bowl for if say you only go to 1 Super Bowl, but you won the 1 rather than go how many years they go? 3, 4 times in a row?
Yeah, you take the 1 Super Bowl.
You take the 1.
Yeah, but hindsight's 2020. You have 4 years of playoff games and going to your game.
Yeah,
to have your friends
is it worth? I mean, you guys can speak of this because you guys did get knocked out in the NFC Championship game last year. Doesn't that hurt even more to know that you were that close?
1,000
at the time?
Yeah, okay,
yes.
yeah,
At the time,
yeah,
yes. But
yeah.
you could be like the Lions or like
Man,
the Vikings or like a team that I can't, like the Texans, that they just get their 16 games. They have no hope. They have nothing to look forward to.
Yeah, that isn't great either. Like you don't want to be a fan of those teams either. But there's really not you got to get over that hump.
This is the great conundrum of being a sports fan, is that you say, if they could just make it to the, a team especially without expectations. Boy, if they made it to the championship game, I'd be thrilled. Wow, what a season. Take, for instance, maybe Giants fans. New York Giants fans, I should say. Beginning of the year, you told them, hey, guess what? You're going to lose in the second round of the playoffs.
Great.
You would think, I'd take that. Of course. You think any Giants fan is happy today in New York? No way.
Yeah, but did you think that they had any expectations of winning that
but
game?
that's what I'm saying, is that it doesn't matter. You have to, once you are there, you throw expectations out the window.
I do think they had expectations of winning that game. Anything can happen on any given Sunday.
Yeah.
They're pretty. I mean, to have a guy that was 6th on the Niner depth chart at wide receiver to be their number 1, you need some guys there. You need some guys besides Saquon.
Anything can happen. You could see, a couple turnovers here, a couple bad calls here. Like anything can happen.
Yeah. It doesn't, and again, same thing could go for Jacksonville. That one might even hurt more because there was a moment where they thought, especially with Mahomes' injury, they thought, we've got them on the ropes. Like, we got the Chiefs right where we want them. They were in that game.
That
up
Mahomes
until,
injury, I believe it was Arden Key who hit him. They need to look at those type of tackles when they basically grab the person's shoulder pads and then go limp and just kind of throw their legs into the lower body. Like if you're going to protect quarterbacks and not allow like a defensive tackle or defensive end roll into a quarterback, then we have to look at these type of tackles where, because
says the guy who has Jalen Ramsey on his team. That guy literally he'll just try to break people's arms.
Jalen Ramsey there's no truth to that statement whatsoever. They're literally you're saying that Jalen Ramsey is a dirty player. You have zero proof of that. You have zero proof of that.
I mean, I could put together a highlight reel, but
you actually can't because there's not. He does
Can we?
He does some jostling back and forth like every other physical DB does, but he does nothing illegal. He talks. People don't like him because he does chirp. But there is no. If you want to talk about look at Dre Greenlaw. That guy is a dirty player. He has probably the most personal foul calls on the Niners defense. He has to.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I would
but,
say,
Look, I'm not saying either guy is, hey, it's a defense, it's football, it's a physical game. Things happen. So that's all.
Stepped on Trevor Lawrence's head, so that's not dirty at all.
he stepped on Trevor Lawrence's head.
He stepped on his head right there.
He was getting.
Stepped on his head.
He did not step on his
Look,
head.
right there. He's not kicking him in the head. He's not doing anything. Didn't slam his head down to the ground. It didn't take me very long. I'm just saying.
You literally just Googled. I mean that.
That's the first video that came up. This is on the fly. I mean, we're recording this. We're not editing this. But I'm saying, the dirty plays happen, and
I didn't say the Niners performed a dirty play. You're assuming that I am trying to take what happened with Arden Key against Patrick Mahomes and say that the same, even though it was very similar, the tackle on Tony Pollard was very, very similar. It is a pull down and then go into the player's lower body. If that happened to Deebo Samuel and that was Micah Parsons, it would be the end of the world right now. It would be like Micah Parsons is the most dirtiest player in the history of the NFL.
No, Niners fans, we're immune to leg injuries because it happens every week. So we'd be like, just another week of getting another leg injury. So.
Yeah, it was tough to see Mahomes hurt, by the way, in that game. To see him hobbling around and I don't know what you're getting from him this week.
No, I mean,
let me throw out. I'm going to throw out a sort of hot take here. I think if and I wouldn't be shocked if the Bengals end up going back to the Super Bowl because something about that matchup for Kansas City is tough for them. If Joe Burrow and the Bengals make it to the Super Bowl, I think Burrow is at least firmly the number 2 guy in the hobby among quarterbacks. And I think if he wins the Super Bowl, there's an argument to be made he is the guy among QBs. Over Mahomes right in this moment. What have you done for me lately?
And I'm glad you brought that up because I was like, who do we have out of the 4 remaining guys that have the least amount to gain? If you were a guy I'm buying now, who's the biggest? Because I feel like Mahomes isn't going to move much regardless, right? If he wins another Super Bowl, there'll be a little bit of movement.
If he looks
you got
bad,
Joe Burrow, you got Hurts,
right.
And then you've got obviously the GOAT. You got Brock Purdy.
If Mahomes looks bad, it's going to be hey, ankle injury, probably shouldn't have been playing. Nothing's going to happen.
I think that injury is a lot worse than people think. I think if it wasn't the AFC Championship game, he would if it was regular season, he would be out. He'd be out probably 3 to 6 weeks.
Without question.
Well, I think it's the same injury that happened to Trent Williams. Obviously, a lineman's going to have to put more weight on his legs. But, I mean, if he comes out and he can't – see, here's
the same injury that happened to Cooper Kupp.
You can't beat them with Chad Henne, right? So, I mean,
Chad Henne looked good coming in.
He did.
I actually think they probably have a better chance with a healthy Chad Henne.
Well, that's what I was thinking too.
Than a hurt Patrick Mahomes.
I kind of thought after that first drive where Henne looked he led them down the field. Look, he didn't look like Patrick Mahomes, but he looked like a serviceable quarterback. I thought right there it would be a tough decision. But you have to say, especially the way that Mahomes was limping, look, if we could, maybe we can win this game with Chad Henne. Not maybe, but it looked like, we can win this game with Chad Henne.
Yeah.
And then at least rest Mahomes. I don't know. Maybe that would have been too bold.
Chad Henne?
Easy to say now. Yeah. It's easy to say now, but
I mean, the biggest surprise out of the 4 games we had?
Yeah, the divisional round, yeah.
The big question mark has been the Bengals offensive line. The Bengals offensive line this week looked as good as I think they're ever going to look. And they're banged up, but they basically handed it to the Bills. Bills couldn't. Burrow had time. They were running the ball. They were basically, there was nothing that the Bengals,
that game was over when it started,
could not do.
Yeah, he looked incredible. But it has so much to do with the offensive line. These quarterbacks in the NFL are so good. All of them are so good. You give them time, and you let these receivers that are also amazing, just amazing talents, you're allowing them to basically get open. It all comes down to the offensive line. Now, do you guys think that there's any kind of play beyond the 4 quarterbacks, like maybe a Jamar Chase card that could go up a little bit?
I kind of am leaning on a lot of the Bengals, but Chase feels like a guy at the beginning of the playoffs that And I don't think you could buy in on him low, but maybe a little lower
about
than
T. Higgins?
originally. Yeah, there you go. T. Higgins might be a nice.
What draft
quick
class
play.
is he?
He is
19?
20?
20
Yeah.
maybe? Yeah, 20 because 21's Chase.
Um,
Yeah, because T. Higgins was with Burrow.
Yeah, and I think he was a second rounder, and T. Higgins is legit. I mean, they were talking about it on the broadcast that, like, on any team, he's number one. You don't, I mean, they have Jamar Chase, but you go to basically any other team, and he is a number one receiver.
What are Devontae Smith's prices like right now for a guy who was a high? I mean, he was just in that same draft class as Chase, if I'm not mistaken.
Heisman Trophy winner. if
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
not
but the
mistaken.
problem, there's a big problem with Smith is he's not going to go to the Super Bowl.
Well,
That's the problem. I mean, like,
Let's-
if you think one game he might go up.
look,
then-
let's just deal in hypotheticals.
I mean,
let's live in
there-
La La Land
I
for
just
a
got done
second.
saying any given Sunday. I guess that is just that's just a made up.
Look,
it's a made up statement.
Let's live
Well,
in
why
La
even
La
play
Land
the
for a
game
second.
then?
you
Yeah,
should.
exactly.
I mean, why save go out in the cold weather, play Philly? I mean,
Philly's a good team. Anybody who's watched football this year, Philly is a legit team both on offense and defense.
maybe.
They don't have their third string quarterback out there.
It was very good. Got to admit, at this point, right? 8-0. It's not. It's still. He hasn't. You're still waiting to be sold on Brock Purdy at this point.
I mean,
8-0 is not enough?
he's got. I mean, great coaching. I mean, it's not. It's. I don't care.
Right.
I really don't. My thing is, what are you guys gonna do next year? What is
Brock
So-
Purdy?
Brock Purdy? So Lance is out of the equation.
Well,
Hopefully
so-
Lance is you don't want to buy Lance right now.
No. Third rounder. If we
There
can.
was, to shed some light on this, I think Mike Silver, former NFL Network, now I think is writing for the Chronicle, San Francisco Chronicle, wrote that there are multiple inside sources inside of the 49, inside of the building.
I read the same
Brock's
thing,
starter.
that it's Brock Purdy, unless Lance makes some amazing strides in the offseason and training camp.
And there was also that cryptic tweet. I guess the guy that had got hired by the Titans.
Carthen, yeah.
And
and
then Lance put thumbs up and fingers crossed or something like
Titans
that.
do need a help at QB, that's for
So,
sure.
But that's all. That's all hearsay. I did want to say before we end our first segment here. We've getting a lot of people in the shop asking about Brock Purdy cards. There's a lot of people hitting us up trying to buy Brock Purdy cards. Something to keep in mind if you're collecting Brock Purdy cards is look at your checklist on your products. Yes, he will be in Illusions, but I don't expect him to be in a lot of products this year going forward. He'll probably be in Contenders because the checklist is deep, but products like Encased probably won't be in there. So he's a seventh rounder. So he was the last pick of the seventh round. Typically, those guys aren't in every set. They're not invited to the rookie photo shoot. Usually there's 40 to 50 guys selected from the rookie photo shoot. Usually seventh round quarterbacks are not invited to the rookie photo shoot. Your rookie photo shoot guys are going to be the guys that are in every product, like your Malik Willis's, your Kenny Pickett's. All those early round quarterbacks for sure are going to be in every product, but he won't. So base cards, I mean, we can hope he gets in Prism.
He'll be in Prism.
You think so?
Prism's a 300. He'll be in Prism.
He should be in Prism. If not, I guess it would be in Chronicles, right?
He'll
as
be
as
in
updates.
Prism. He'll probably be in Optic as a base card. I don't think he'll have autos in Prism. I don't think he'll have autos in Optic, but he'll have a base card.
Sorry to interrupt, but we haven't really talked about this since this. I mean, we're talking about obviously Purdy. You're not going to see him in as much stuff because he's a late round pick. How much does this change the equation for Panini and the way they now handle this going forward? If there's a seventh rounder QB selected, it doesn't have to be the last pick, but let's just say there's a guy in the seventh round who's a QB who's selected. Do they have to go, well, we don't want another Purdy situation on our hands. We got to make sure this guy signs.
Well, I mean, thankfully, honestly, if this was in 2013 or 14, we probably wouldn't even have any cards of them. The fact that we make more now is the fact that they have to get more guys. They have to get more stickers. So, I mean, if you look at some of the Contenders draft early on, there was guys that aren't even in the league that didn't even get drafted that are in that product, and you still see their autos come out. So the fact that the industry got a little bit bigger and expanded, to answer your question in a roundabout way, I wouldn't expect seventh-round guys, even if they're quarterbacks, to be in every product. It's kind of a crapshoot to see if they pay off because it could very easily be like, oh my God, I can't believe I got another Brock Purdy, right? I mean, that's how quickly it could change, right? So the fact that it worked out in this regard is probably a 1 in 100 chance of this ever happening again.
Yeah, I mean, who was remember Tom Savage? He was like a late
Connor Shaw,
was all, and nobody was. I mean, Connor Shaw was the same year as Johnny Manziel,
Yeah.
right? So that wasn't the guy. That wasn't the quarterback you wanted from the Browns.
But you could point to guys like in 2012, RG3. Guess who was drafted in the 6th round that year? Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, that's a situation that worked out as a backup. But, yeah, I mean, going into this season, having Lance, there was no way. I mean, Purdy wasn't even going to make the team. They were going to have Nate Sudfeld be the 3rd string or the 2nd string guy. So, it was a lot of obstacles for
That
Purdy
was
to
probably
overcome.
a financial move. That was probably the
Almost
fact
certainly.
that
Sudfeld was like $2 million.
Yeah, Brock Purdy was cheaper.
100%.
So
I mean, when you have a backup QB that at the time your backup QB was making a lot more probably than most potential backup QBs when Jimmy G was still sitting.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, going forward, check out checklists. He's got Mosaic base cards for now. So if you could scoop up some retail or get into a break by the Niners, those are the ways to get his base cards. Not a big fan of that card. Half of his legs missing, or at least the bottom half of his legs missing. But, it's what we got to work with. Thankful that they did get a 7th round Mr. Irrelevant in products. So you got to keep in mind, they're not making products the week before. They're making products 3 to 6 months in advance. So we're still like at the beginning of the season right here. There was no way that Purdy was on their radar.
no, I mean, you could actually, go back to the Brady rookie year.
Yeah, similar.
Not a lot of Brady rookies. There's not a lot of Brady like base cards.
Nope.
I mean, there was obviously the Bowman Chrome and the Contenders auto, but besides that, I think Upper Deck had a handful of like rookie cards.
Yeah.
But there's no Topps Chrome rookie because they wouldn't put like a 6th rounder in there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And then when you start getting into the hit-heavy products, like I mentioned, encased, they're not going to put a guy that's like it's good. If they put a guy in there every year that's a 7th rounder, then it's going to be a bummer to get him more often than not. So something to consider. We haven't seen. I mean, we do see that he's in a wild card. I mean, they somehow got him on the cover of a box real quick. That was quick planning. Leaf usually gets everybody, and they didn't get him. He's not in any of their products. So, just kind of
And again, I think Brian tries to focus on the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Like heavy in the first 2 rounds. Because if you are basically prospecting and you look through the history of the NFL draft, the first 2 rounds are where the players are going to come out and have successful careers most of the time.
Yep. Well, and to end off our beginning segment, check out the big event. It's going to be February 10th, which is our 160 box NFL Pick Your Team. 12 different years, tons of bounty skunk prizes. We're giving away $10,000 to a lucky participant in that break as well. Check out the checklist. It's on Mojobreak.com, and it is loaded with some of your favorite boxes, including 2020 Flawless. We've got multiple years of National Treasures. We've got 2017 stuff, which is hard to find, so we may pull a Mahomes rookie. 2018, 2016. We knew Dak wasn't going to go far, but, we've got 2016 products if you're still into Dak, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Check it out at Mojobreak.com.
And before we go any further, we do want to mention we have a great deal going on at Mojobreakshop.com right now. If you make a purchase of $150 or more, that's basically the price of brand new 2023 Topps Series 1 Jumbo coming very, very soon. If you want to pre-order that box and you put in the promo code KSTAR23, that's KSTAR23, at checkout, you're going to get $15 off your purchase. We got all the latest releases at Mojobreakshop.com. Check it out. Super Bowl's right around the corner. Get that football wax, whatever you like. And like I said, Top Series 1 coming soon. It's available for pre-order right now. Second half of the show coming right up. Doug and Dan are in L.A. breaking with NFL rookies. You probably watched it on our live feed. That was a lot of fun. We'll have some more about that next week. Doug and Dan talking about their experience. First time doing an event with Panini in a couple of years. So, in their absence, we're bringing in the rookies off the bench. C-Rad and I, not the rookies, will be here the rest of the way, but Ty Pez and YG also joining us for the rest of the program. Tyler and Greg, the young stars rising here at Mojobreak. They're going to have a new podcast that's coming up very soon. You can watch them on Twitch. If you haven't subscribed already, going to be live on Twitch a lot more often, giving you basically a table setting for the day here at Mojobreak and offering their own unique perspective. Here's a taste of that perspective right now. We're going to talk some NBA mid-season takes in the hobby and a little Guess That Price with Ty, with Greg, with C-Rad, and yours truly. All right, welcome back, guys. It's Cody with you here on The Hype, episode 274. No Doug and Dan today, or maybe they're here. I don't know. Have you guys just shapeshifted or something? What's going on?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Yo, is it just me? Oh, this don't look like Doug and Dan over here.
No, it's not. This is, I don't know who let these guys in. I don't know what's going on here. We need to get some security, some intel here. Yeah, explain yourselves.
All right,
strangers.
yeah, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Doug. And I'm Dan. That's basically all.
It is Ty and Greg here. You guys can hear them, by the way. The Ty G show on Twitch is coming very soon. If you guys haven't subscribed already, I think I already talked about it before we started here, but the Ty G show on Twitch, it's coming soon, and it'll be like a table setting for the whole day on Mojobreak, and of course, their brand of takes and I mean, insane takes. We'll get a taste here. So thanks for coming on the show, guys, and pinch hitting.
Yeah, if you guys have fun flaming me on TikTok, just wait till you hear their takes.
My takes. Hold on. Let's take it back. It's Ty's takes. It's Ty's takes.
Spicy all the time.
Well,
Spicy tea.
We got a lot of spice. Well, okay. So because of that, now you guys have inspired me to start off with the spicy take. I tried to get Doug and Dan to bite on this when we recorded, but didn't quite take it. So I just want to throw it out to you guys. The new king of the NFL. Yeah, you guys see the slide right there.
Yes, awesome. It looks great.
Is it Joey B if the Bengals can defeat the Chiefs, that would be their fourth win in a row against the Joe Burrow
Highly
Bengals.
likely.
Highly likely, says C-Rad. You know his feelings on Patrick Mahomes. And a banged-up Patrick Mahomes at that.
Exactly.
If he does that, and then if the Bengals can win the Super Bowl, that would be a Super Bowl in just his third year in the league. He was a former number one pick. There was already so much hype around him in this hobby prior to all of this. Is he the new guy, the new number one dude among collectors and just in general in this QB league? Is he the number one guy to dethrone if he can beat Mahomes and then win the big one?
Well, I think winning the big one is the main thing here, right? Yeah, beating Patty Mahomes, I love it. It's probably gonna happen 4 times in a row this Saturday or Sunday. But for Joe Burrow prices for the hobby wise to reach Patty Mahomes level, I feel like he does need to win the Super Bowl. He probably needs to win the MVP as well, because that's something that Patty Mahomes has done. With that said, like if Patrick Mahomes somehow with that high ankle sprain can beat the Bengals, I will give him a little bit of credit. All right. Well, also another thing I want to add is that what's strange is that I saw this on Slapstock the other day. National Treasures RPA Burrow and Sherbert, who you guys know how I feel about Sherbert. He's like out of that draft class, he's like probably the 3rd or 4th best quarterback there, probably the 4th. Herbert prices are still higher than Burrow, bro.
Are they really?
Yes.
That makes zero sense. And again, I like Herbert a lot. I'm a big Herbert defender.
Yeah, we know.
But but right now, it's not even right now. Going into next season, there is just it's done.
And
the argument's over right now.
I saw this post by Slapstock after the Chargers were already got bounced out of the playoffs. So like for the fact that Herbert still sold for more for the similar RPA, similar grading on BGS too. If I recall, it was a similar grade. Like I think it was a 9 on both. Really blew my mind, right? And so you got to ask yourself, like, what is it about Burrow that is not translating? Because like you said, he's beaten Patty Mahomes 3 times in a row now. Like, he literally owns the Kansas City Chiefs soul. Like, he has it in a bottle. And he's just like, he probably goes. It's like probably by his nightstand. Like, he just holds it there when he goes to sleep every night. And then the fact you add to the fact his draft mate Justin Herbert still sells for more than him. So what is going on?
I think it has to do with a little bit of a shock factor. Joe Burrow jumped in, or like in college, out of LSU. There was a shock right there, but we weren't collecting his rookie cards. And now all he does is win. Where Patrick Mahomes jumped on when he was the first named as a starter, MVP, straight to the Super Bowl. There was that shock factor that the hobby just gobbled up, and it was rightfully so.
I think that Herbert also, or Mahomes also, he has those like really flashy plays that it gets the crowd going, which I think that like, obviously that's not going to translate to cards as much for every single player, but you see like Purdy makes one play and everybody's excited about those.
Because he makes 2 plays, not just one.
Sorry, Purdy makes that one play, drops it in the Ayuk drops it in the end zone, right? And Ty is over here saying he's going to be the next Brady.
A lot of people were saying that actually is kind of ridiculous, but
I'm glad you brought up Brady. While we're still on the Joe Shiesty topic, that guy right there, I think is like the perfect emulation of Tom Brady. He's super calm, composed all the way through the season.
That's why they call him Joey Cool.
When it comes to the playoffs, he's a stone cold killer, and Patrick Mahomes got to watch out this week.
I have a question though, C-Rad. You did say Herbert might be the 4th best QB
from that draft.
So it's Herbert, or it's Burrow, Hurts, and you're saying Tua?
I was gonna say Burrow, Tua, or okay, Hurts is okay. I'll probably put right now, especially because it's hard, man. Right? Because Tua got those concussions, man. He didn't finish out the whole season. Like, it's very sad. Like what happened with him this season. Like, I've from the very beginning when we used to do this podcast when these guys were rookies, I always said that Burrow and Tua were my main guys that I liked from this draft class. Right? So as of right now, yes, I'll give it to Hurts. Hurts has looked incredible this year, and has been on the field more than Tua. So Burrow 1, Hurts 2, Tua 3, and you guys know I love my list. Sherbert 4.
Is there any Raiders bias in that? I'm sure there's.
Yes.
No bias.
No, there's inherently a Raiders bias.
That's no bias.
In my opinion, is a product of his offense, like who's around him. He's got Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. I think that's a wide receiver core that's unmatched in terms of speed, in terms of everything. And their coach right now, what's his name? Mike McDaniel. Yeah, Mike McDaniel is really good offensively. So I think
the offense looks different.
Tua looks a lot different than he used to.
Yeah,
with that offense.
So, there's no bias, but
I do want to bring up this one thing about the Joe Burrow being the king of the NFL, like going forward, and I don't think this is talked about enough, but the Patrick Mahomes' new contract kicks in next year, I believe, and he has 2 tackles, or there's 2 players on his offensive line that they will not be able to re-sign once that new deal kicks in. We all know
Orlando Brown, is he one of them? Is he on the?
I don't remember the names, but I do know it's going to impact like how his O-line is protecting him, and we all know the whole Aaron Rodgers thing the last couple years, where the more the quarterback collects, the less they can spread around their offense to protect that quarterback and make him, deep into the playoff. That's where I think Joe Burrow, like, they're not going to have that problem for another couple years.
I believe Mahomes is going to waddle away. I can't even say it. Waddle around the field still.
I think this is the last year. If he has to win the Super Bowl this year.
I mean, there is truth to that there was a window here for Patrick Mahomes. It was this year, and then you said it, the contract kicks in. So that is the fear if you are a Chiefs fan, and then you kind of enter this, like, you will always be good, but you will never, like you said, it kind of is a perfect comparison of Aaron Rodgers, where it is like, the Packers are always going to be good because Aaron Rodgers is there, but then, and you're seeing it right now. I've seen it brought up on a couple shows, like the Chiefs are this unstoppable force until, we see it firsthand with the 49ers. I think you see it to some extent with the Eagles. Like, I think maybe the Eagles may be a little more reliant on like a good quarterback play, but like these teams are built to withstand that loss, whereas the Chiefs are kind of like, it's Chad Henne or nothing if Mahomes gets hurt.
Oh, best believe I have some Chad Henne cards on deck.
But on that note about the Eagles, they're allowing the contract that Hurts has, that rookie deal, to go and get guys like A.J. Brown to really spice up that offense to get him deep into the playoffs. So now, or in the future, when they offer potentially, I think they will offer Hurts something big to keep him long term.
Oh, of course.
Then they're going to have to deplete their offense, which is what Patrick Mahomes is going to start phasing into.
Yeah, and that obviously happens to every team eventually, right? This is what we're talking about. These teams have to give up something every single year to keep their main quarterbacks, main stars, right? And that's why people give so much credit to the New England Patriots and Coach Belichick and Tom Brady. So if we're talking about if any of these quarterbacks can claim to be the next Tom Brady, you better be winning championships for the next decade. Doesn't matter what freaking team you have.
Yeah.
Right?
And
and that goes for Patty Mahomes.
Right.
That goes for Joe Burrow.
Right.
It goes for any of these guys because Brady was able to do it with a bunch of different pieces for like 2 decades, bro.
LeBron is literally an example of that. He had guys like J.R. Smith, had guys like Timothy Mozgov.
Especially early in his career, he was able to carry.
You're with
bad
guys
teams.
who aren't really. I mean, you had Kyrie that one stretch.
Well, they had Kyrie, they had prime Kevin Love.
Yeah.
They come on now. Let's.
I like where this is
he
going,
had
though.
Bosh. He had
but the early
Wade.
Cavs for sure was
Yes.
he was carrying them for sure.
Garbage team that got in because of LeBron.
Was he
no
an
doubt.
NBA champ? Bowie Gibson?
Yeah.
Great player.
But real quick, back to like Patty Mahomes and Joe Burrow. So in terms of the hobby, right? Because the hobby treats Patty Mahomes as if he is the next Tom Brady already, right? And they've been treating him like that for the last 3 years already. So if they lose their offensive, and you know, like if you look at the Chiefs, like you're right, they've always been good. Andy Reid's always been good, right? Like, but do they have enough to win a championship? Patrick Mahomes better be winning some championships, with even if his line's not the same, if they don't have the same offensive firepower in terms of receivers and running backs, you know what I mean? So
We also got to talk about how beefed up the AFC really is. Like, I truly believe down to my core that this is the last opportunity, the easiest opportunity that Patrick Mahomes has. I think he can make it again in the future if they revamp everything and get a little more defense heavy. But this is, I think, the last window to lock him in to place as like the guy.
yeah, and it sucks because he has that, for a Chiefs fan, that he has that high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
That is tough. You're asking him to beat a team that he hasn't beat 3 games in a row now
With a bad ankle.
with a bum ankle.
He
Is
beat
it back foot?
I think it's his front foot, if I'm not mistaken, is what it looked like when he was playing. But regardless, it's going to be a cloud that hangs over this game, and it is going to be one of those, like, what if he was fully healthy no matter what happens here? Or it becomes, like, legendary status. Oh, my God, can you believe it? After this whole run, he was playing on something that needed surgery or something like that.
Yeah.
You hope it's not that, because then that's going to affect his entire career potentially, and we don't want to see that. We saw the whole thing, all of the discussion surrounding Lamar Jackson, how he basically put his health before his long-term health over a short-term gain by not playing in that first round. It was probably the wise decision. I don't think where it's to that extent here with Mahomes, but I don't know. I really don't know. I think he'd be out in the regular season, so hopefully he can look like himself next year. But
I also think too about the coaching situation, like where Brady had Belichick forever, and that was his consistent coach for the entire decade or 2 decades.
2 decades.
Joe Burrow's probably gonna have Zach Taylor, a good,
coming
7 to 10
together.
years.
Yeah, that's true.
How long is Andy Reid gonna be around Patrick Mahomes? I think that's an honest question.
Well, that's now that kind of also like leads into maybe why Eric Bieniemy has not had a new job anywhere. Like it feels like they've just been sort of leaving the seat. Andy Reid's leaving the seat warm for him at this
He's
point.
going to
Like,
retire and start drawing mustaches on people.
that's right.
that is the funniest commercial.
It's a good commercial.
To be honest,
It's a
I've seen
good
that commercial way too many times. That one and the BK commercial.
No, don't even. No,
So
don't even.
in my perfect world, Cody, this graphic that you have in here, yes, Joe Burrow is the king of the NFL because he's going to beat Mahomes for the 4th time.
It just
and he's going to go to the Super Bowl and either beat Jalen Hurts or beat Brock Purdy in the 49ers.
And from a hobby perspective,
sitting on the top of the throne.
I feel like, let's not get carried away. But from a hobby perspective, I feel like he is the thing that is sort of separating is the MVP from Mahomes. Because if he ends up going to 2 Super Bowls in his first 3 years and winning one, he's essentially replicating the Mahomes formula to an extent, basically, other than the MVP. But the number 1 pick part of it, I think, from a hobby perspective, is where it kind of evens out, because there was always this hype with Joe Burrow, whereas Mahomes, it had to build up. So with Burrow, it's been like, we've been waiting for this.
Right.
This is what we expect from this guy.
What are you guys' explanation on why? Like, I know you kind of touched on it, but like, bro, like, why is Herbert selling for more than Burrow?
The only thing I can
Why
think,
is Herbert selling for more than Burrow?
Delusional.
I honestly
Maybe he's a
think-
little bit flashier. Yeah, I get it. Like, flash is part of the game, but
I think it's just
what
initial-
has that boy done, dude?
I think it's initial hype.
Yes.
It just hasn't come down since
I think
the first time he's been quote unquote shown greatness.
God. You know, like last week, a lot of people in our Facebook group was trolling me too, or like not trolling me, but they were saying, don't let C-Rad talk about NFL anymore and all this stuff. Like, longtime listeners know I troll the crap out of the AFC West. So if you take anything I say seriously about the AFC West, there's something wrong with you. But you know, I give Mahomes his props. Like, he has proven himself, like, in terms of like winning the MVP his first full season and then winning the Super Bowl his second season. But like on Herbert, like, what the hell has Herbert done?
I mean, he has looked good. He has. Now, that playoff game is going to stick out like a sore thumb. I think things are going to even out this offseason for sure, where I think you are going to see Burrow take the lead. But I think there is, like Greg said, I think this is such a common theme, I think, throughout the hobby. It's that initial investment. People don't want to take the L.
No,
That's
I
the
get
market's
it.
pride. It's the
No,
market's
see,
pride
and I was gonna say that about last week too. It's like, I get it. Mahomes is the hobby guy right now, and like, obviously, as people, we're all in the hobby. We want to protect, like, the guys that have the biggest names, right? Because they're what keep the hobby going. So I get it from that aspect. And the same thing, like, people probably did invest a lot in Herbert. But, like, so did a lot of people invest in Burrow.
Right.
Like, right now,
That's
his
where it's
prices should be more than Herbert. They really should.
Yeah.
But they're not.
That's where it is weird, because it's like it's not like it's a Mahomes case where it was like, oh, he was the 10th pick versus Herbert was the number 1 pick. It's like, no, this was it's the opposite. Yeah. Herbert was the end of the, you know, it was within that top 10, but Burrow was number 1, and he was like the hot guy coming out of the draft. So it's very weird, but I think it will even out, and we'll see this weekend. But hey, let's shift over to the NBA. Let's get some basketball talk. I feel like we haven't gotten into a lot of basketball talk.
Oops, let's do it.
Let's do it. Hoops. Midseason NBA hobby roundup. Been a weird year, to say the least, in the NBA. A lot, like, the Western Conference is super, I mean, it's starting to separate, but super weird at the top, like teams you wouldn't expect. I got to shout them out right now. The most fun team in basketball. Never thought I'd be saying this. The Sacramento Kings.
Oh, yeah,
They're the most fun
right
team
now.
in basketball, without question.
Light the beam. That's
Light
all
the
I hear
The
now.
Sacramento Queens?
Oh, come on.
My
We
boy
can't-
Kevin
look-
Herter.
Well, it's not the playoffs yet. That'll come out later.
Look. I know that they're technically a NorCal rival with the Warriors, but, like,
I'll never
can't
say
be
I'll have
mad.
anything positive to say about the Sacramento
no, I
Kings.
can't be. I'm sorry. And maybe this is me being a bad Warriors fan, but, like, I'm not mad at all. Like, good for them.
Sometimes
I'm
it's
glad
fun to
they're
support
having
the little
fun.
brother.
I feel like
you
they're
know?
gonna get bounced out in the first round.
I mean,
I feel like they're
might.
not even going to make the playoffs by the time we get to the playoffs.
That's also very true. It's because now the Warriors are going to start taking things seriously.
Right.
As we
What? They're tied for like 10th right now, right?
Something like that. I mean, it's a really, really, like, the bottom half of the Western Conference is basically separated by, like, the 4th spot, and the 10th spot is separated by, like, 4 games right now.
I hate to say it, man, but Kings, great. You're right. Great for them. They're having they're a fun team to watch right now, and they're winning games. But they're one of those franchises where you just forever you just shake your head at their drafts and the decisions they make, and is one of those, like, even if you want to root for, and if you're a Sacramento Kings fan, I'm sorry, but if you want to root for them, like, you know that, like, just like a Raider fan, the end is coming eventually.
Okay, so you're going to say, like, boy, this is a hell of a leap to take. But I think that there's a lot of parallels, because you're right. There have been so many things this franchise has done that have fallen flat on their face basically for the last 20 years, since the C-Web and Peja era. Nothing has gone right for this.
When the Kings got screwed by the refs,
Yeah, exactly. Where that was it. That was it closed the door on that era.
That
and
was it.
What felt like the franchise history.
even the NBA didn't want them to win.
No. I mean, there has been talk of them moving to Vegas and all these things, and they stayed. And what I was gonna say was, I think there are parallels to be made about the Sabonis and Halliburton trade to the Warriors Bogut for Monte Ellis. Not directly the players involved in all that, but like it was a controversial trade that caused a stir among the fan base, and it was all the feeling of like, oh God, here we go again. Are you kidding me? We finally have a great young player and we're trading him. Yes, Sabonis is great, but like, what are we doing? And how that really lit a fire to them, completely changed the dynamic of that team. Sabonis is a perfect fit for that team. It's also working out really well for Indiana as well. Yeah. But I feel like there's kind of a feeling of like, okay, this team, like the rest of the team kind of got together and was like, they believe in us. We got an all-star. They figured it out. The Keegan Murray's been great for them. So I don't know. I think this can last. I really do.
I really like that comparison because I think it's, I mean, as a standard fan or just a common fan, we don't really know what's going on with the front office or where they're actually trying to take the team. So I think that actually, because, yeah, the trade worked out really well for both parties.
I think we're going to have to determine if it actually went well, if they make the playoffs and they do something good.
But right now, both the Pacers and the Kings are both in line, I believe, as of today for the playoffs, if not.
Pacers are pretty low, though.
Yeah, they are. But, I mean, they've got positive momentum with that team and a great young core, which I think we should talk about. I said it before we started recording. I got some grumbles. I think, I mean, and again, it's tough because from a collector's perspective, there's not a lot of 22, 23 products out there yet. But I think that when we start to get a consistent flow release of these products, I think we're going to find that the 22, 23 rookie class, people are going to be more excited about them than the 21, 22 rookie class. I think there's just more to chew on here. Paolo, Benedict Mathurin. There's Chet, who hasn't even played, but like he's a big name. So many other guys too. Jaden Ivey, who hasn't even filled his full potential with Cade out. I think there's a lot here.
Really good.
Bro, I'm not gonna fight you that if you think that this draft class is better than the previous. I think there's a couple of things you have to take into account though. We've been in terms of the hobby. We've been on this Cade Cunningham rookie class for going on 2 years now.
Right.
So
maybe there's a little fatigue on
there's
my part,
there's some
frankly.
fatigue there in terms of the hobby because products were spaced out a lot for this Cade Cunningham rookie year. And like all those guys you mentioned, they're great young players, especially Paolo. Like not every rookie class will you have a guy and come out and put up the numbers that Paolo is doing his first few months in the league. Like it just doesn't happen very often, right? But if you really look back at that Cade Cunningham rookie year, there was a handful of guys as well that we were all excited about for a long time. It's just like I think there is some fatigue now with, and then we're getting to the end here. We got one more Cade Cunningham product coming next month, which is Flawless, which signifies the end finally of the product, for that rookie class. And like these 22, 23 products can't come any sooner. So I'm not gonna fight you. I just think if you really look into it, like it right now, my feeling is that, and maybe because you've seen guys in their second year, third year now on this draft class, and you're like, maybe they weren't as good as they were in their rookie seasons. That might be it too. But in terms of like when we were in it, and I think the 20 it remains to be seen.
I actually agree with Cody. I mean, there's a little bit of a gray area with Cade Cunningham right now because he is injured. I do believe that Jalen Green's a little bit overhyped. He does score a lot of points, but he is pure offense.
Yeah.
Pure offense.
He needs to get
to
another dimension to his game for sure.
I mean, also you have guys like Jonathan Kuminga. He's a big question mark for the Warriors. Josh Giddey's getting overshadowed by Shai Gilgeous, so there's a lot of players that we were initially very hyped on that I think are starting to simmer down a little bit now that
which always happens when the new draft class comes out.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I said, like now we're seeing them in their second year and then people can start analyzing them more. Whereas the new rookie class, you're so impressed with what they're doing as rookies, right? Same thing, we were so impressed with Giddey and all these guys when they were rookies. Right? So I get it from that perspective. But like you just named a bunch of guys that I wasn't even thinking of. that makes the 20. Dude, then you got Jalen Suggs
It's
and
a-
Franz Wagner.
Look.
Then you got the main 5 rookies. Dude, that
bring up the rookie
21-22
of
is
the
a
year.
deep class, bro.
No, don't get me wrong.
21-22 is a
Second
deep
rounder.
class, bro.
We still haven't brought up the rookie of the year, Scotty Barnes.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I was like championing that the 21-22 rookie class for a while, saying I think it's really underrated. I think there's a lot of depth here. I think it's one of those that 5 years down the road we're going to look back
I think
and
you
go,
said that
"This
last
was
year
better."
about
Now, but I think the difference with this year is simply nobody in the last year's class to me is at the level of a Paolo to me, or even a Benedict Mathurin, who I think has been incredibly impressive with the Pacers.
I think there's a handful of guys that were as good
Right.
as Benedict.
Well,
last
no,
year.
but I'm saying the pairing the two of them together to me, I think your top two is better than the top two from last year, and I think number one is a big reason why
Paolo
is a guy who I think is going to be a massive chase. It's already starting, but like there's no one I think to compare from last year's class. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
and it's so fun to watch that Magic team. I talk about it on the stream all the time. They're I don't know what they're building over there. I think they're building the Monstars. This is what we were joking on the stream because their front court is literally Bobo, Paolo, and freaking
They just
Wagner,
got, They just got back Jonathan Isaac too, who his prices started going up.
yeah, he goes
after
off the
scoring
Wendell
10
Carter is another big that
Lots
they have.
of young guys from 2018
Dude,
on.
not only not lots of young guys, they're tall, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Franz Wagner himself is like a guard small forward for them, right? And he's like 6'8" himself. So like the smallest guy they have on the court at all times is like their point guard. Or Jalen Suggs, I think he's like 6'6". He might be 6'6".
And Fultz has been playing pretty well as well. So we're finally seeing potential with.
But yeah,
Markelle Fultz
Paolo
possibly,
is
too.
very impressive. Very impressive. Like fun to watch. He puts up the numbers.
He reminds me too much of Anthony Davis. He just doesn't move the needle.
Anthony Davis?
I don't know where that came
Yeah.
from.
He reminds me
That's
too
not
much of
Anthony
Anthony
Davis.
Davis,
Which
which
is not a bad
doesn't
thing.
move the needle. I just want to isolate that real quick.
Yeah, no,
I was gonna say it's not a bad thing. I'll take that comparison. All right, first of all,
Absolutely.
Anthony Davis, but not move the needle. I don't know because Anthony Davis, like, he was a darling of the hobby his first few years
Man,
too
when
because
he's
he
on the
because
court,
he was
man.
putting up numbers as a young player.
He still is when he's
Yeah.
on the court. The
Yeah,
only
when
thing
he's
is
on-
he's not always healthy.
Yeah, health. Now you can look at it and like be like, there's a lot of question marks now because he's not fully healthy in a lot of seasons. Which he did have a lot of health issues too when he was younger. He didn't stay on the court as much as you would like, but man, he was impressive as a young player, and he's still impressive now as a veteran in the game. But he just
Do you
gets
still feel that in the hobby? Like, do you still feel like everyone's still impressed by him or the
I would
career that
say
he has done?
I would
Is it
say
impressive?
that the feeling that I got in 2012 when he first got drafted is the same feeling. I'm still impressed with how he turned out. Like, not every first round pick turns out the same.
yeah
Right.
And Anthony Davis has produced, and he's a 8-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA first team. You know, he's done what
Yeah,
he's
he's got a
got
lot
to
of
do.
accolades.
Got a lot of accolades.
Yeah, if we just go, I'm not going to, but if you just look at the number one pick in the last 10 years, like Anthony Davis is one of the better first picks.
Another Anthony didn't turn out well. Anthony Bennett.
Don't
Yeah.
talk about
I
that.
feel like all the-
Anthony Wiggins
I don't know,
the
in
next
regards to
year.
the
Hey,
hobby,
that's good.
there's just still so much
Anthony
love.
Bonchero is the next one.
I just still think around the hobby, there's so much love for guys who dominate like the sports media that we always see in our daily lives, and the guys that provide the flash. And Paolo's doing that right now because he's young and agile and has the ability to. But I really think like Ben Mathurin is just the next coming of Ja Morant. Like I think the
think that's
numbers are
kind of-
exactly there where Ja was at this point halfway through his rookie season.
The question mark on Benedict is his IQ as high as John Morant.
Yeah.
Because if you ask, like, if you watch any basketball content, you probably know, and a lot of like smarter NBA players have said the smartest person that they've played against in terms of the young guys is John Morant. So if Benedict Mathurin in terms of athleticism and numbers might be similar, but is he as smart as John Morant is going to be the question moving, like, a year from now.
And I hate to be so shallow here, but also like it is almost like a running joke with NBA. It's like Pacers when it comes to collecting.
Yeah.
Does anybody
Who's
care?
the greatest Pacer of all time?
Right, exactly.
Isaiah Jackson.
David West, Grant Hill,
Yeah,
Paul
Stack Jack.
George.
Yeah,
Paul
of
George,
course.
his rookies is
Reggie Miller. Sorry, my
Reggie
bad.
Miller, that's a good one.
But I guess, yeah, like I said, maybe that's the old way of thinking. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. But that is a thing that just keeps holding me back in my mind of like, yeah, but if he was doing this in like, I don't know, New York, if he's doing this for the Knicks or he's doing this for, hell, even like the Clippers, like.
I mean, was there anyone that was highly collectible from Memphis before Ja?
That's true. And that's a great point, is that Memphis was not a basketball destination. It had some great years. I mean, I think about the early 2010s with like
Zach
Zebo
Randolph,
and all that. Yeah.
Gasol.
So there was years, but there was
Conley.
never a star that you could hang your hat on, especially in this world, that you could be like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter that they're a Grizzly, like they are highly collectible. Everybody wants them. They're a hobby star. So it just takes one guy to change the narrative. But this be real quick. It looks like I kind of wanted to bring this up, get your guys' feeling. Kind of alluded to it when you're talking about Anthony Davis. Big men in the hobby, it's always kind of a thing that's it's like every other position other than QB in football, pitchers in baseball, big men, centers especially in basketball just don't tend to sell as well.
Nope.
But
Nope, nope, nope.
Jokic is en route to his third straight MVP potentially. He's kind of a unicorn. His value is way up there now, as
Yeah.
it should be.
He's an expensive guy.
He definitely is. He's definitely pricey. I think I just saw.
And I think he was a unique position. He was a unique thing because he was drafted earlier. So his like rookie cards in 2015, it wasn't even really his rookie. They were his rookie cards, but that wasn't the year that he actually got drafted.
He was a Eurostash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not in a lot of as many products as some of the other rookies that year either, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like, again, like I think you're gonna bring up Devin Booker.
Yeah,
His
Booker, who
his
was
draft mate, quotation marks,
Right.
which is not really his draft mate.
right, exactly. His stuff still sells very well, despite the fact that I think I don't think he's made nearly as much noise this year. The Suns haven't made nearly as much noise. He sells better than Joel Embiid. Probably, I don't know what Anthony Davis's numbers are right now.
They're
But
probably down now.
yeah, they're probably down. I would suspect. I don't know if they're lower than Booker, but should we be readjusting based off of Jokic, or is it Jokic? Like you said, there's all of these really unique factors for Jokic, where like it's really scarce. He could be winning a third straight MVP, which is just unheard of, especially for a guy like him. Should we readjust, or is it like, nah, he is a 1 in a million. He's the exception.
Go ahead.
I think that it attributes to the excitement of how they play. So Devin Booker, obviously, he's handling the ball a lot more than a guy like on his team, like a DeAndre Ayton, who was a former number one pick.
And the
So-
thing too with Jokic is he is handling the ball a lot more
Exactly.
than a guy like
They run the offense through him a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we might see that narrative change a little bit once Wembanyama comes into the picture. A guy who's going to command the ball and can basically do anything that a guard can
He's
do.
like a supposedly, I don't know because I don't know too much about him that much, but he's like a Kevin Durant center.
No, yeah, he's like
Jeez.
7'5" or something.
So if he's a Kevin Durant center,
that's horrifying.
you're talking about the unicorns of all unicorns. If they can run their offense, whoever drafts them, if they can run their offense through him and he's bringing the ball up the court, that would just blow people's minds.
What do you even call that? That's not small ball.
tall ball. It's tall ball.
Like what is he? He's like 7'5".
7'5", I think.
Something crazy.
Something outrageous.
Jesus Lord. So back to your question: is this a one-off with Jokic when centers generally don't sell well? I kind of get that feeling. I also feel like the international part plays some of it. You know what I mean? I can see him long term being as revered as like a Dirk Nowitzki, right? Because Dirk Nowitzki has a lot of hobby love.
Yeah, he does.
His autos, in terms of vets autos, still sell for a bunch compared to other veterans, right? And yeah, and if he keeps adding to his to his stats, like if he gets another MVP, if he can win I don't know if they're ever going to win a championship with the Warriors in the West. You know what I'm saying?
They're number one right
As
now.
long as Steph Curry still playing, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but if he can add a bunch of these things, because he's gonna have a long career. Like he's still at the pretty much the beginning of his career, or maybe like the mid. Like he's in his prime right now.
He's
right?
definitely in his prime. Yeah.
But you can imagine him playing for another 10 years. So there's a lot more he can accomplish. If he can add to his accomplishment, is what I was trying to say, then he could definitely shatter everything we perceive in the hobby of what we look at centers as. But like you said, Wembanyama might do that next year anyway. So
And even Chet, we haven't seen Chet.
Yep, we have not seen
He's
the
7'2" and can shoot the lights out, supposedly.
and the other thing about big men, part of the reason I think and is baked in, is that because they're big, they get injured a lot, right?
Yep.
So they're like, it's like, why am I gonna invest in a guy that I know is not gonna be there like half the time, right? So that's the scary part about Chet. That's the scary part about any big man. Anthony Davis, right? Going back to Anthony Davis, that's gonna be the scary part of Wembanyama. Can he stay healthy? Any big man. Yao Ming had a great career, but he was only in the NBA for a few years, man.
Yeah, that's true. I
You know
think
what I
Embiid is starting to show that he can stay healthy. He's like the one.
Finally,
player.
because it went backwards. Because at his first 3 years, he was injured the entire time, which was scary. You're like,
Yeah.
dude, this guy might never really have a full career.
Yeah.
And this is what we're thinking about Zion Williamson right now, right?
Right.
Like that
That's
he,
a good point.
yeah, like
That's a real good
Zion
point.
Williamson's like, damn, dude, is he ever gonna? And you hope for the best for these kids, but like when you're, and it's not even like Zion Williamson's huge, but he's huge in that he's huge for his height. You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily to say like he's like, some years he's probably bigger than others, but he's been in great shape to start this year, but he still got injured.
I also think I could be reaching a little bit here, but I think that when the Warriors introduced small ball, it definitely attracted a lot more excitement to the 2-3 guards who are
For
scoring a
sure.
lot more.
Yeah, it's like a perfect marriage of like this, like basketball card collecting exploding in the way it did in the last 10 years with what's the style of basketball that became the most prominent. It's that, you know, it was like, because in the 90s, like Shaq's cards were all the rage. Like people
Hell
were
yeah.
collecting Shaq like crazy.
I was just gonna ask you guys, do you think if Shaq was a rookie nowadays and he had all the different products come out of him, like would he be like highly sought after?
Damn, that's a good question.
Because he's not a shooting center
I
either.
think he
but,
would.
But he's so dominating.
I think he
Yeah,
would.
I think he would.
I think. I mean, whenever I think of Shaq, I think of broken backboards.
Yeah.
And like, I think that alone would excite me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's all about shock factor and excitement around like the media, and Shaq was one that loved the media.
And it's not like Shaq wasn't a good player. He was a great player.
No,
Hall
he's
of Famer.
incredible.
He was incredible.
Yeah, like you think about it, there really is no other center you can point to that is similar to Shaq at all.
Yeah, I think that's, and I think I would go to the guy who played right alongside him all those years, who had a, better career. Probably, if you're ranking the top two centers of that era, it's him and Duncan. And Duncan just is not nearly as exciting a guy when it comes to, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you're
I think you're
collecting,
correct.
yeah, no one's as excited to collect Duncan as maybe like if you get some huge Shaq card where it's like Shaq, because also Shaq transcends basketball too, where like in the 90s,
He's
like
a
it was
superstar.
right. He was a superstar. Like I knew Shaq. I first knew Shaq from movies. That's
Before
how
you knew
I
it.
from
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
I was like, oh, he's
Yeah.
a guy. He's a really big dude in like what was it, Steel, Kazam.
yeah,
and I was
the
like,
Genie movie. That's
yes,
right. That's right.
Yes, and then it's like, oh, and he plays basketball. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that explains it.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
there's no one quite like that where that kind of puts him on a different level.
But I'm glad you compared up or brought up Tim Duncan to compare, because statistically, Duncan probably had better years that were better than Shaq. But when it comes to collecting in the hobby, it's still like those popular names that are always around, and Shaq dominated that part.
But Tim Duncan was Mr. Fundamental.
Mr. Fundamentals. Hey, fundamentals.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
superstar on the court, just not a superstar in like life.
He wasn't polarizing in the media like
Yeah.
Shaq was.
It's still like, even though he's like been coaching and stuff, still seeing like Tim Duncan courtside, it's like,
He looks sad.
Yeah, well, just in general, I'm
Just
like,
focus
oh
on
my
the
God, it's Tim
fundamentals.
Duncan. It's like a rare, seeing a rare bird or something. Like, it's like, wow, he's out. Wow, it's Duncan. Oh my God.
That's why, yeah. I mean, us as basketball collectors, we would love. He actually would be super sought after if he just signed, but he doesn't sign anything.
That's true. That is also true. He doesn't do that.
It's
so
because he's
maybe
rare.
okay.
That's why he's sought after. That's why we would love it. But
Yeah. Good point. Good point. All right. Well, let's round things out. Let's stick with basketball. It's a fan favorite, and it's our first time Greg and Ty are being broken in, whatever you want to call it, indoctrinated. It's time for Guess That
I've been waiting for
Prize.
this moment.
and guess who the champion is in the building?
Yes.
2 times in a row, I won one. Actually, you guys did one when I wasn't here, so that doesn't count, dude.
That's right. All right. Let's start things off.
Oh, my head's already starting to hurt.
Our first, guess that price.
Depends on when this sold.
So a lot of these did sell pretty recently. I tried to keep it pretty recent. Guys who have, the theme is NBA stars who have been some of the bigger names this season, whether it be good or bad. So here we go. First up, Donovan Mitchell. Huge game, huge season. So huge game early this year, huge season for the Cavs. This is a 17-18 Contenders Cracked Ice rookie ticket on card auto, number to 25, PSA 10.
Beautiful card.
This sold back on January 12th.
So after he had his big game.
After the big game. That's something to keep
yes,
in
sir, yes,
mind.
sir, yes, sir.
After the big game.
I told y'all I don't like this high end. That's not
Yes,
my
sir,
wheelhouse.
Yes, sir.
Contenders Cracked Ice, number to
Yes, sir.
25, 17-18, rookie Donovan Mitchell auto. Sold January 12th, had 46 bids on eBay. 46 bids.
Okay. I think I know I'm going with this.
All right.
No, I feel like
Okay.
I'm low. You go first.
Should the champion go first?
All right, I think so. I think we should start with the champ.
First is the worst.
All right. I'm gonna adjust real quick. 15K.
Oh, I might be off.
$15,000.
Oh, I know. Dude, that's what I thought. I'm like, oh no,
Hey.
oh no.
All right, we'll just go. Ty, you're next. Clockwise.
2,800.
That's wrong.
$2,800. All right.
1,000% wrong.
I'm
He
going,
might be closer though. But
I'm going with 11.5.
$11,500.
I think Greg might have got this one.
Let me do the quick
You know, my
math.
original bid was 11K,
My original.
but I wanted to go higher.
My original was 67.50.
All right, let me
thought that was too
do the quick math
It was
here.
either gonna be over 5 figures or in the middle. Is what I was thinking.
Yeah, my original bid was 11K. I should have just stuck with my gut. I probably.
5 figures.
All right, let me one
Holy
second.
It must be close between somebody.
All right, but if I'm closer, if you say 67 or 7,000, we can count that towards me, right? I get 2 guesses.
Carry the
Oh,
one.
he's gotta
Oh,
do this.
no, I am not a math major. Actual price. $8,225.25. Greg gets.
I would have won
the
it
first-
anyways if I put 67.
No, Greg gets it by actually.
Yeah.
Ty was second.
Would've won.
C-Rad was third on that one.
But I mean, 28 is. I mean, he was closer.
Closer.
But I was way off.
But it was low.
I wouldn't even count it.
On the
I
low
was
end.
way off.
If we were doing Prices
I
Right
appreciate
rules,
it.
if we were doing
Man, I
Prices
should have
Right
gone
rules,
with 67.50. That would have made me sound even closer.
if this was Prices Right rules,
And my original bid of 11K is actually closer to 8K too.
You think there's more room
is
to
it
go
close?
higher?
Ooh, is there room to go up on
I don't
that?
think so.
No, I don't think so.
You know what?
Unless
you know,
Unless he wins the title.
Yeah.
part
As
of
the
the
MVP.
part of
Sure.
this price is also this is the first year that they did contenders for basketball, and it's a super
point.
iconic set.
Good point.
That's got to be a pop one. I don't think there's any that got. There's probably not any that got dual graded too.
Yeah, that's definitely a pop one.
Yeah, that's a
definitely
good
pop
call.
one.
All right, next up. Yes, there we go. All right.
Oh, no.
Jaylen Brown having a great year. Him and Jason Tatum are
That looks like Doug and Dan's card.
It might be actually.
If
It
I
might
recall, if I
be.
recall their patch, it looks exactly like that.
Hopefully not an advantage here for C-Rad, but that is Jaylen Brown. It is a 2016-2017 NTRPA 89 out of 99 Jaylen Brown. It's a BGS 9. It's sold on Christmas Eve for a buy it now price.
By now, huh?
Christmas Eve of last year,
Okay.
or 2022.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown. Him and Jason Tatum kind of becoming Splash Brothers East.
Yeah.
How many
Is that a
zeros
bold
do I add to
statement? Yeah.
this?
It's weird because they both dominate and they're on the same team.
Yeah, they've both been great. All right.
And the knock on Jalen was always like his offense is, or Jalen's not as good. His offense is not as good as Jalen's.
Yep.
But it's like one
They're
A,
almost
1B, dude.
Yep. They're almost hand in hand now. I know
Obviously
he's been
Tatum
hurt.
is still the more overall
Yeah.
impressive player, but Jalen's right there. Dude.
He's definitely made up a lot of ground.
All
It,
right,
it really does remind me of the maturation of
I,
Clay.
I guess Greg will go first.
Yeah,
I'll
Greg
give my
will go
price.
first.
Man, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark. Let's go with 15,800.
15,800.
Would I even be close?
C-Rad.
I'm scared.
All right, I am gonna go. I'm gonna go 17.8.
My goodness.
I feel so off right now.
Remember, this is their most sought after rookie card.
It is.
I know.
It is. It is also a
He's like $100 bucks.
BGS 9. It is a
Which
BGS
is a really good
Really
grade.
It is a great
I
grade.
almost think
but
I'm
it ain't
too
a 10.
low, so.
I thought I was
But
too
it
low.
ain't
I
a
was gonna
10
say
and
in the
it ain't a
20s, but I didn't
9.5.
know if that was justifiable.
Dang.
It's not a 9.5 or a 10. Just saying.
I have 9,200 and down. But
Let's just go with that.
Is it,
Yep.
is it
You just go with that.
19,000?
You
Because
just
we
go
gave
with
you
that.
hella.
What are we
I know,
going
I
with?
know.
What are we
Information.
going with?
Come on.
Oh, 92.
9,200.
The one I wrote down.
Nah, he said
9,200. Actual price. Guess who's on the board? It's Ty.
Nice.
$5,999.99.
best offer. Okay.
Yeah, 6,000 basically.
I would have.
I know. I think it's low. I think it's low.
What?
Wait, what? How much?
That's $6,000.
$1,000.
Oh, I thought you said 9,000.
No. $5,999.99.
Dang, my
really low.
initial.
It's
Dude, I
a little
had
low.
65.
Now
swear-
Christmas Eve.
Dang
It sold Christmas Eve of 2022.
No, there's no way, dude.
That's-
There's no
I'm
way.
just
Can I
telling
see
you. I'm
this?
just
Because
telling you the
Jalen-
numbers. I'm just telling you the numbers.
RPA is probably like 100 grand or something.
I would say it's like 65,000.
I'm just telling you. Look.
Damn, I don't
Can
have
you-
my.
can you
I
look
don't
up
have
the-
my
Don't
phone.
don't kill the messenger here.
Yeah,
Can you
This game just got a lot
Mr.
more fun.
Messenger,
Let's
can you
look it up afterwards. Let's look it up afterwards.
Mr. Messenger?
I'm telling you, like there's something.
I don't
wrong with
think I
this
misread
option,
it.
dude.
Maybe it was $59,000.
$6,000.
What auction house was this?
This was eBay.
Wow.
$6,000.
Let's go.
I
Maybe-
think you
look.
meant to say $16,000.
Yeah,
maybe.
I would have been
At
$200
least.
off.
Look, maybe it's $59,000, but for now,
I would've
Ty's on the
bought
board.
that. Okay,
Ty's
maybe
on the
not,
board.
but, like,
Dude, my
had
initial
the
guess
money,
is
I
gonna be
would've bought that.
6,500. Let's go.
all right.
But we did
Next,
92.
next up, this will be a fun one. Hey, we were just talking about this guy. Or we're talking about their
Logo
team.
Non-auto.
man.
De'Aaron Fox. It's non-auto, but it is the logo man.
It is the rookie logo.
And it is
man.
the rookie logo man, indeed. 17-18
1 of 5 or 2 of
NT.
5?
Yep, 1 out of 5. De'Aaron Fox.
eBay
Logo
101.
man.
That's what I was gonna
eBay
say. They
1 of
probably
1.
put eBay 1 of 1 at the front of it.
eBay 1 of 1.
All right.
BGS 9.5.
you,
This
we
sold
got you.
January
God, dude.
4th of this year. 34 bids on this baby.
34 bids.
34
So this is
bids.
before they smacked the non-jaw Grizzlies.
Non-auto, 1 of 5. De'Aaron Fox rookie logo man. BGS 9.5. Light the beam. Who's gonna light this beam?
All right. Ty, you go first because you won the last one.
All right.
32K is my guess.
$32,000.
Okay, now I'm so confused.
No, you keep your answer. You're keeping your
I'm so
answer.
confused.
All right, go.
Hey, you know what? I'm speaking from experience. The first time I played Guess That Price, I was like all over the map. It's all good.
I'm gonna go with $3,100.
Okay, 3,100 for
500.
55.
My original was actually 2,100, but I think that's a little too low.
That sounds very low for
No,
a
but
logo.
31. But it's
Wait,
out
did I
of
miss it?
5.
Is it a-
it's not
is it a
one
rookie
of
logo
them.
man?
It is the rookie. Yeah, that's
okay.
that's
But
it's
it's
the
1 of
rookie
5.
logo.
That's the only reason why I don't
It is
think
a
it's
nice grade, though.
that value. Yeah,
It's a 9.5.
It's min.
5,500, man.
It's a min.
All
Just
right.
give me my first dub.
50. Actual price
Tell me it's in the threes.
$3,800.
Wait, really? No, I did. 30,
Oh, that's great.
31.
I didn't even need to
on.
do the math on that one. That one's Greg. That's Greg. So that means if Greg can get one more,
Which you know I'm about to.
he's gonna be
Yeah,
the
is Champ
champion.
sweating?
No.
Champ's not sweating. Nah,
You haven't seen how many times I've come back from the
that's
brink.
true. That's true.
Or the times when I was leading handedly and then would just lose the last 3.
That's true. That's true.
Wait, but you only got 2 more, or you got like a?
We got 2 more. We
you
got 2
Do
more.
you have a tiebreaker just in case?
I'll figure that out. On the
Okay.
fly. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Don't worry
You
about
gotta
it.
be
You're not
confident. dude. You
confident?
don't need
Yeah,
a tiebreaker. dude.
Yeah, you don't need a tiebreaker because
no, I'm gonna
here
let
you
them
go.
win. I'm gonna let them win the next 2.
Here's your next
I
one.
gotta channel my expertise on this one.
Kawhi
Oh.
Leonard.
Oh God, Greg, I think knows this one
Silver.
pretty easily. dude.
Prism.
I don't know.
12.
I haven't looked at 2013.
That's,
Don't lie, dude.
2012
You know this
Prism
one, dude.
Silver.
First year Prism
Nah,
here?
I
12,
feel
13. Yeah,
it's
that's
gonna be
first.
on.
First year
This is first year Prism. It's not a rookie Kawhi, but it is a first year Prism. Although,
All right,
no,
I've
it's
got
not
a
rookie
number.
Kawhi.
I'm gonna wait.
12, 13 Prism Silver Kawhi Leonard PSA 10. This sold on December 19th. It had 44 bids. Weird year for the Clippers. Had a big win against the Lakers though the other night.
Oh my god, dude, my brain is hurting over this.
Greg needs one.
Greg,
to
go ahead.
win.
You won.
And again, first year Prism, guys.
2012 Prism Silvers have gone down a lot since the peak, so I'm gonna say 2350.
Okay.
I'm going 1850, my friend.
And I'm gonna lowball you all 1,700.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I
This one shocked me.
we have a winner.
I don't get it. Again, do not kill the messenger here.
It's low.
$20
dude.
bucks.
It's like
gotta be low.
1,100, huh?
It's probably like 700.
It's 500.
It's actually higher than you think.
Oh,
And
so
we
I won.
And we do have a winner.
Yeah.
Actual price after 44 bids. $4,494.
Wait, I was
See,
I was only putting what I was willing
you
to
only
pay.
won because you were like, you had the highest, but you weren't even close either.
That wasn't close.
Yeah.
But that's as much as I'd be willing to pay for Kawhi.
Is there room to go higher on that too?
Can we do the fifth one? I just
Of
wanna-
course.
I-
Yeah,
I
we're going to
wanna-
do the fifth one. But
I
there you
wanna
go.
win this one,
Greg
too.
is the winner. Congrats to Greg.
Thank you. Can I get some like?
Rookie of the year right there. Gets that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Boy, C-Rad's got to get on the board.
I feel like I was close with a lot of these though.
You were actually like second on almost every single one, other than one.
freaking rip.
Well, when you bring in the experts, what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. 31.
I saved this one for last. I thought it would be the most interesting considering the year he's had. That's
Oh my
Pascal
God.
Siakam. Pascal Siakam, 2016 Prism rookie auto, 16-17 Prism rookie auto. Pascal Siakam PSA 10 sold on December 21st.
Let's get one thing straight too.
for the
Like
best offer.
I won the last two guess that price, but I lost the first 50 of those.
This is my
You know,
debut.
I'm not good at
This is my
good
debut,
at
though.
guess that price.
This is a
Like,
long
I
way
won
to
the
debut.
last two, but I literally lost I must have lost like 15
Oh,
in a
let's
row.
keep this going,
now
Cody.
your
Just-
confidence goes to suddenly you're like,
Hold
well,
on.
now wait a minute. Caveat here. I'm
Hey,
not good at
Hey,
this.
you guys know if you listen to this podcast.
All right.
C-Rad's not good at this game.
All right, PSA 10. This card is going for 625.
PSA 10 Pascal Siakam rookie YG off the bat 625.
I'm
They
going-
started
I'm
writing
going-
their
I'm
numbers after.
I'm
What is
going
this?
1K.
1,000.
I don't even want to say it. I'm so
Say it.
embarrassed.
Say it.
2,200.
20. Okay. He's had a good year.
Okay, so the
He's
only
had a
reason why I
good
said
year.
that was because I haven't seen a lot of Siakam. I don't know.
They're not out there that
And
often.
and he's a 4, right? He's a 4.
He had a big game, I believe, against
My
it was
guess-
at the Garden this year.
My guess
he
is
had over
his
50.
auto raw is around like 100, 150. So I'm guessing a PSA 10 would be like 600. 550, 600.
Actual price.
Quick
Come on.
conversion.
Come on.
This is also American dollars. It's sold in Australia, but
Oh.
actual price.
You know.
It's the same.
You know.
$702.
Thank
Good
you.
Lord,
Thank
great.
you. Thank you.
The
Oh, it was what?
Nearly
shipping
a
and fees took it up to
sweep.
2,200, right?
Dude,
That's what it was.
I did say this guy keeps up the prices more than all of us. So
But I don't look at Siakam's prices. My
No.
guess, just off face value, is that the card is worth 100 and
you
150.
you do some actual thinking when it comes to like these prices. I'm just like
Yeah, but when I
what-
when I go to shows, I don't look at my phone. I just
No, I'm just saying, like right there, you just said that what the raw card you think would go for would translating to a PSA 10. Like you know that kind of stuff because you deal with a lot of like graded cards and raw
Yeah,
cards. Like
Look,
is that his
Man.
excuse though?
Look,
Yeah.
man, you're coming in here using strategy.
Yeah, like, what is
and
that?
Calculated
knowledge.
freaking strategy.
It's not allowed. Okay?
That was almost a sweep, but he let Ty win one. I don't know.
Nearly a
I don't know
sweep.
how that happened.
Nearly a
What?
sweep. Nearly a sweep.
Can we do another one? This is fun. We can keep going.
Hey, well, you know what? You can next time on the
Oh,
show.
man.
I know. I gotta still cook up another.
Damn it! I can't believe I
another guess
lost
that
my
price.
championship
Absolutely, and shut out. A full shutout
on
I'm
basketball.
Sorry, C-Rad. I'm
I
sorry.
don't know. I don't know
On-
what I'm talking about with football and
I-
basketball.
I tried to play to your strengths here, and you still went over.
Again, I was close though.
You were close. That's
There
true.
was one where we were all off. That shouldn't have counted, but
Well,
we'll count it because
Again, we'll take a look at that Jaylen Brown. I'll have to go
Like
back to the
700,
replay
and my
booth.
$1,000 guess wasn't that crazy.
No, it wasn't. Yeah,
I actually thought you were gonna be the closest with the Jaylen Brown.
yeah. I'll have to go back to the replay booth on the Jaylen Brown to see if
Yeah, that.
maybe that was a misprint.
Hold on, bruh. Yeah, we got. That might change. Wait, no, you would have.
It wouldn't change. No.
I would've still won.
But
This
that,
is-
that was the one that Ty won though.
Yeah, I know
Yes.
about Jalen Browns.
This would be
Not
like that
Berkeley,
Jamar Chase
You know
touchdown
that.
against the Bills, where it was like it didn't really matter that it wasn't
Oh,
a
no,
touchdown. So yeah, well, congrats, guys! Congrats to Greg on winning that. And if you guys like that, again, make sure to check out Ty G, the Ty G Show. It's coming soon to Twitch. Thank you guys for pinch hitting for Doug and Dan today. Really appreciate you guys coming on. So make sure to check that out on Twitch. And, of course, make sure to go on Mojobreak.com. Full slate of breaks. We got all the latest releases, guys. Illusions, Mosaic, all of that, and much, much more available on Mojobreak.com. We've got our second feed, Mojobreak Media. We've been breaking Mojo Inferno basketball. Insane buyback that we've had so far. KD autos. We've had there's LeBron still in there. There's been Steph Curry autos we pulled. incredible.
Yeah, Cody, you
buyback.
gotta save some for me and C-Rad.
I know. You
And
guys,
go Eagles.
okay.
Whoa.
Fighting words
Fly,
right as we're
Eagles,
about
fly.
to sign off. Fighting words right as we're about to sign
Bang
off.
bang Eagle gang.
What?
All right. Not allowed to eat cheesesteaks until after the game. So that's been a
Cheesesteaks for
tough
everybody after Sunday.
One. That's been a tough one.
I'll
If-
buy one for everybody
Look,
in this office.
If the Niners win, I will absolutely go down to the cheesesteak shop and grab myself something with Whiz. Oh, man. Can't
Ooh,
wait.
Sounds good.
Oh, yeah. Whiz. So good. Can't have it any other way. Except for this week. No Whiz. Absolutely none. So, all right. Before we fly away, thanks for listening to the podcast. For C-Rad, for Ty, for Greg, for Doug, for Dan, I'm Cody. Go to Mojobreak.com, MojobreakShop.com for sealed wax. Mojobreak Media is your home for your second stream. And, of course, subscribe to the podcast, Mojobreak Sports Card Show. We'll see you guys next time on the show. Later.